Hello, hello, and welcome to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com, on Instagram at Mallory McGary, or any other inquiries at beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome to today's show. I'm so excited for this fresh new start. The title of the episode today is the September is the new January, and I heard this on a podcast that I listened to, and it rang true. I listened to it a couple years ago, but it really rang true as I started kind of going through my business journey, life journey, seasons of my life, that I noticed I felt a huge reset when September started, that summer's over. And conveniently, this falls on the 1st of September, so it fits really well in. But school's back in session, summer's over. Anything that you had in January is just kind of washed away. If you're still sticking to your resolutions, congratulations. But most of us have kind of left that behind a while ago. But now we're in this spot of kind of re-gauging up. I define it as a season of fun and a season of relaxation where you have more time to just kind of go at the spur of the moment. You don't have a rigid schedule like you do during the school year, or things are a little bit more fluid in the summer. And maybe some of you are still wishing that you had that fluidity somewhere in there, because it's hard getting back into that routine. But once summer starts to wind down into the school year starting, it becomes, we've got to get back into a routine. We've got to get back into what school looked like. We've got to get back into just a functioning routine where we all can get what we need to done, where we need to be, where we need to on time, and really start to get more of that a little bit more of a rigid schedule rather than kind of that free flowing that you had throughout the summer. So hearing on this podcast a couple years ago that September is the new January, it gave me a light bulb then. And if you don't see your email inboxes getting full of things to do for the summer, like if you're a business owner, launch your product now. Now's the time to do that. Launching like a service, if you're a service-based business, there's a lot of sales happening right now of kind of getting back into the groove of life. It's kind of everybody's taken on this whole we're getting back into a groove, and we're starting to ramp back up. The same things you see Black Friday style and at the beginning of January to give into your resolutions. And it's interesting to see that I've taken the time to go back and look at things I had in January that I wanted to accomplish. And some are still on track. Some I have just totally thrown to the wind and haven't really cared about. Some I've pushed on the back burner, but now I want to bring them to the front burner. But it's giving me the chance to reevaluate and re-reflect on the last 8 months of the year and really set a tone for the next 6 months. For the next 6 months roughly, because some of your goals go into January. But I have found that also works for me personally is that I use this as my New Year's, that my resolutions go from September to September. That's kind of my year, rather than January to January, because everything gets lost in there, and I can focus better on things that are happening in the fall. That's kind of the season I love to be in. That's what I love, what I thrive in. So I'm more attentive to those goals rather than letting them die like most people do with their resolutions. I'm more attentive into making those goals happen. So some things that I have looked into this past month, actually, because I knew September was coming. So it doesn't change. It happens every year, right? It always is continual. But I have gone through looking at what I wanted in January and my goals that I wanted to set then and where I wanted to be. And there are some parts of my life right now where I'm at what I wanted to be in January, and there are other parts of my life that I am not even close. That they were the ones that I thought I would be farther along, that I had thrown off to the side and just kind of said, I don't have time for you. I have other things in um, my life that it was things I just pushed on the back burner. I just shoved them on the back burner because I didn't want to deal with them. I felt like it was a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself to deal with those. And so in my reflection moments of looking back at that, it was turning into a an experience of saying what really is important to me, what really is not important to me, what really are my priorities that made me really realize what my priorities are. And I'm going to attribute this experience this year, at least, to my dad in having a conversation with him, in fact, yesterday, of just things that are happening in life. We had more of a heart to heart of what's happening, how I was feeling, what I was wanting to accomplish, where I wanted to go. And he looked at me, and he always gives great advice. And it's usually advice I don't want to hear at that moment. But I was open to receiving it. So, and receiving the information that he was sharing with me because I was looking for something. I just didn't know what that something was. But he looked at me and said, "What are your priorities right now? What are the things that you can actually function and focus on without feeling like you are a little not the proverbial hamster on the wheel, but you're also not looking for every new shiny object of, oh, this will fix this, or this will fix this, or that's the magic pill, or whatever that looks like." And it made me stop in my tracks. And I really had to sit in that for a minute. I had to sit in the feelings of, is this something that's important to me, or is this something that's important to me, or do both not matter? Or if they're both important, which one outweighs the other? And I came down to the things that my priority list got rearranged, and knowing as by doing that exercise that there were going to be pros and cons, as there is to every choice, every change, every opportunity that is given, there's pros and cons. But it allowed for me to really look and say, if this is something that's on my priority list and I'm making it a goal, what am I willing, what are the pros of this, and what would be being a sacrifice? What would I be sacrificing if there would be anything in that? And it really realigned myself and my heart to the goals, not only that I wanted to reach in the next 4 months until December, but in the next year until next September and beyond that. It realigned what my mission is for my business, what um, my excitement is for being a mom and being a business owner and all the roles that I play. Sharing my message with the world, is one of those things that um, I thought I was doing in the right space, but it wasn't the space that I wanted it to be in. So I wasn't sharing authentically into what that was. And it really made me get back into thinking about just myself. Have I taken care of myself as much as I wanted to and in the way that I wanted to? Spoiler alert, I have not. I have not given into the self-care that I really need. I was giving into the minimal effort of taking, 5 minutes there to do something, doing 10 minutes here to do something, really trying to just make sure that I'm filling up my cup just enough, but not allowing it wasn't filling up, that I was spilling over all of the energy. It was just being filled up just enough that I could keep going, that I could keep going a little bit longer, a little bit farther. And I told myself in this exercise of setting my resolutions, I use that in air quotes, of resolutions of September, that it was something I was recommitting to. I was recommitting to stepping more into my confidence in who I am as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, and any other role I play in there. But I recommitted into allowing myself to take care of myself better so that I can show up better for everyone that falls in that bubble, in those circles. And it as I was looking at my business and my entrepreneurial journey, and I know you all have seen my little guy behind me occasionally and heard him singing wonderful songs to all of you, but he's going on 3, and so that is a hard age of being able to balance a work life versus a mom life, and wanting to be good at both of those things. I really want to strive and be successful in my business, because I know that moms out there need to know that it is important for you to still have your identity as a mom and a woman, because what happens when your kids are gone, it's you, and you have to rediscover yourself. So why not start that journey now and keep that, and also allow your kids to see that that is something that is important, and that you are someone outside of just mom, outside of that role that you play to them. And that's important. And for me to make sure that that message, and moms feel that freedom and space to be exactly who they are, what they want to be, that their dreams are worth going for. And but on the other hand, you have motherhood. Doesn't matter if your kids are teenagers, middle schoolers, elementary schoolers, toddlers, babies, fresh babies, any of that, they still want you and they still need you. And they give a different pull in your life. And it's that balance, right, that we're always looking for. And in my reflection, I realized that I didn't want to lose myself into just being a mom. That my business was important, and something that was important to me and needed to be a priority along with my family. And so we're going on this journey together now that we're learning how to balance it. And it's never going to be perfect, but is it going to be balanced in a way that works for me? Yes, it will be balanced in a way that works for me. But I'm going to share my tips and tricks that I learned along the way to help you feel like you can balance a little bit better, maybe learn that something you can take off your plate. Because I believe that motherhood should not be something that stops you from going for your dreams. Motherhood should be something that propels you forward into the woman that you are. And that by doing that, you're showing your kids the example of that you can go for your dreams. You can, no matter how old you are, you can always go for your dreams. And that it's not bad to be dreaming big. Dream realistically. Everybody has those dreams that are realistic, but it's harder to dream big. I'm very much one of those very dream biggers, big people, and have absolutely asinine goals that I know are unattainable, but I put them out there anyway because it just keeps me on a path. But I also have realistic goals of what is going to happen. But I never want to lose that, my own ability to dream for the most random things of renting a castle in Ireland to live in for a month and a half, right? Like, could it happen? Maybe. Is it realistic right now? Not even close. But something that is a little bit out there, but keeps me dreaming big, that maybe one day I will be that princess I've always wanted to be since I was a tiny little girl and live in a castle. So through all of this, going through this reflection, through this moment, really feeling and sitting in this balance, I revamped a little bit of my business that I'm sharing with you. this is all of what I've come to do in my resolutions for the rest of the year, and really delving deep into my business, sharing my business with all of you, sharing my wisdom, sharing my transparency, knowing that wherever you are on your journey, mom, dad, any sort of parent, that it's okay. Yes, I do focus more on women, so sorry guys, but I hope that you can glean things from what I share, and that you can look at your own life and say, oh, that's good and helpful in making this change into the rest of the year. And so the mission behind Beautifully Blooming is that we believe in thinking outside of the traditional box of motherhood. When you have the right tools to create a sustainable business and life, you and your family will have the freedom you desire. Then you will know complete fulfillment as a mom and a woman, because you have all of these things that make you well-rounded. You will have a business that is something that is yours to you. Have that foundation of what those core values are in your life. Have that foundation where in the world it feels like you have to make a judgment or form an opinion within a matter of seconds. And it doesn't always sit well with you. And it feels awkward to feel like I started on this path, but I did like my research and I paid attention to what was being said and really delved it out, fleshed it out for myself. And this is actually really what my opinion is. The world just feels like it needs to be always, you have to have something going all the time, and you have to be able to make those judgments in a matter of seconds. And some things are really easy, some things are really hard, but having that foundation of going through this is what's important to me, and these are the things that I won't negotiate on, then you're able to make better decisions and better formed opinions, because you're looking through it with the lens of, is that serving me or not serving me in that right way? So that is where I came to in my business journey, in that I don't know if I've ever really shared this part of my story with all of you listening, but my story of starting my business was born out of feeling like I was just missing something, missing whatever it was. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what that looked like. And I had always had this feeling of being directed or called, whatever you want to call it, to being a coach or a counselor or someone of this sort in this area that could be the one person that believed in someone as they're trying to achieve whatever it is, because it takes one person to believe in you. Sometimes they hold that belief for even yourself for a long time before you can actually go into that belief. And I had great experiences of mentors of mine, still have great experiences of mentors of mine doing that exact thing for me right now. And it has shown me that that's what I was missing something in that space as I've reflected over that, and getting now as going through life and going through my programs and creating my business and creating my programs. I remember that when my son was born, a lot of you know this, I've talked about it in a couple episodes, but I was reborn at the same time, because now I was reborn as a mom and a woman. And I looked at him in the hospital and I was like, I love you so much, but I cannot lose myself in just you. And he was born right before all of the world shut down for 2 years. That I found, thank you to COVID, that I had fallen into that just mom role. I use that in air quotes as well, of anytime people would say, well, what do you do? Well, I'm just a mom. I'm much more than that. And one night it hit me really hard as I was telling somebody about it, that was like, slow down. Slow down, girl. You have got to really think about who you were, who you are, because you're not just that. You're a lot more than that. You're that multifaceted woman that has made so many people, you attract so many people that way because you are multifaceted. And same with every other person out there. Everybody's multifaceted in their own way and they attract their own people. And so it reignited that passion and desire for me to go back into my business with different eyes and a different reality, and taking those rose-colored glasses off, if you will, that I was able to see with more clarity what that looks like. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about how September is the new January, and that how you can implement some of these little steps in your life to create a bang for the end of 2022 and leading into 2023. You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I'm the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at Mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome back to our topic of September is the new January. And previously, we talked about things that I reflected on in creating my business and everything like that, and we're getting aligned more in my business journey and my strategies to help move moms who are feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or just feeling like they're stuck in life and moving into that freedom in motherhood that we look forward to, and that we are being able to shed mom guilt, because that is something that is plaguing all of us. It's a silent killer, as I say, a little bit of a killer of individuality and identity, because it doesn't allow for you to be who you are or who you want to be and grow into that person. So this last part of today's episode, I want to challenge you guys to really reflect, make September your new January. Look at the things you want to accomplish over the next 4 months. Let's just say until the end of 2022. That will start your year off in a bang for 2023. and look at some of those things that seem impossible. Looking at some of the things that seem realistic, but still a little bit out of reach, that maybe it causes some uncomfortableness in you, and being able to do that because uh, it's uncomfortable, and our fear steps in. It's like, whoa, we don't know how to handle all of this, and we don't know how to protect ourselves from what's out there. But step into the uncomfortable and enjoy the challenge of learning how to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And in all transparency, that starting my radio show was me stepping into being comfortable in the uncomfortable. I have been, it's been a dream of mine, but I wasn't really confident when I started. I've listened to some of the beginning episodes, and you can kind of tell that it's there, but now I feel so much more confident and feel strong-footed on being on air and having it go in multiple places. Like, it's on the Roku channels. If you have that, it's on the iHeartMedia channels. Wherever you can find Going Solo Media, it's out there. And it's become a home for me. But now the uncomfortable part is learning to be sharing a lot of a journey story, and wanting to have that relatableness. It feels sometimes that I think I'm being relatable, but maybe it might not translate over there. So it's a little bit of a balance in that way, in full transparency. So if you have feedback, send it in. But there it is. There I've laid it out. And so stepping into the uncomfortable has allowed me to grow in so many different areas, so many different ways, that I don't feel uncomfortable in front of a camera. For all of you that are watching, I don't feel uncomfortable in speaking. That for those of you that are listening, that it's led me in a great direction and helped me network with a lot of different people in the best way possible, because I have been willing to get comfortable in the uncomfortableness. So challenge number one that I have is to feel comfortable in the uncomfortable, and to do something that just makes you uncomfortable on the daily, because that's the only way we're going to grow and learn. Staying in the same comfort zone is what helps us feel stuck. It's what helps us feel overwhelmed, and helps us feel like we have that missing piece somewhere, and that we can't get a hold of whatever that is. It's always just barely out of grasp, because we are not willing to go outside of those comfort zone boundaries that we've put in place. So challenge number two that I have, and there's only two for today, is to do, if you listen to my episode with my friend Holly Hartman, that she does the solo dating challenge, and taking that really to heart is dating yourself. Take a chance, take a break, take a chance on yourself, really roll the dice on yourself. If you think about people in your life, how many people have come and gone and come and gone and come and gone, and you keep giving them the chance to be better, to show up differently, to be a better friend, whatever that looks like, whatever scope that's in. But think about those people that come and go, and you keep giving them chance after chance after chance. That maybe sometimes you should continue on because it does get better, and sometimes you probably shouldn't. I've been on the receiving end of both of those. I gave somebody a chance and I got burned by it, but then I gave somebody else a chance and it excelled into something way more than I could ever imagine. But think about that, and you can't give yourself a chance. Give yourself that chance that maybe one thing didn't go work out well the way that you did it one time. So it failed that time, but you learned. You didn't fail, you learned. It doesn't mean that you can't ever do that again. Anecdotally, for my first story, is that I had a business about 4.5 years ago that I started. I was all in, thinking it was going to be the greatest thing in the world, and that it was everything and anything that I could have ever imagined it was. And I realized as I delved into it more and more, it wasn't what that missing piece. It wasn't that missing piece I was feeling. It was more of something I was trying to fit myself into, that I wasn't taking care of the real truth and the real purpose behind my business, and what I wanted it to be, what message I really wanted to share out into the world. And that's okay. So I let that business die. Did it mean I failed? No, it didn't. It meant I let go of something that I learned from, but I let go of something that wasn't serving me in the way that I wanted it to and the way that I would serve the world. So it was a twofold type of thing. So I let that business go. And it took me a minute. I had to date myself for a little bit, really figure out what mission I really wanted to share with the world, what message I really wanted to put out there, that motherhood is hard. Yes, it is. Being being a woman is hard. And combining both of those together is both, it's extra hard. It feels like it some days, but that you can mitigate that by still maintaining the woman that you are, and letting that define how you're going to show up in all these different roles. You're going to show up differently for your family because you have something that is authentic to you, that you're doing yourself, that your cup is full, that the spillover effect is that having all of that extra energy, you can show up differently and better for everyone else around you in all of the roles that you play, rather than going back to the theory of being, I'm just mom. I'm just a mom. That doesn't hold any water, because you're not just a mom. You're so much more than that. Mom is a part of you. Being mom is a part of you, but it is not who you are. You're not just mom. You're your name. So I'm Mallory, and I'm all of these amazing things and amazing roles that I play. And I show up differently in each one. And some I can give a lot more energy to depending on the day, and others I can't. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're failing at all either. So challenge number one is to just kind of regroup, rethink. And number two is to date yourself, refine yourself. And on the end of this episode today, I am, for all of you moms, working women, anybody that holds the title of mom in any way, shape, or form, maybe a wannabe mom, a soon-to-be mom, a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, whatever that looks like. My new program is called the Leading Lady Formula, and it is all about setting that foundation for creating a sustainable business, but it also doubles as the foundation of your life. It gives you those strengths, that cement pad, or however your foundation looks in your life. It gives you that solidness to stand on who you are, that you have a why, that you feel like your purpose, you found your purpose, and you know what that purpose is. You have really the things that are your core values, that when people are asking you to make these really snap judgments and opinions, that you can lean on those and know that this doesn't sit well with my core values, or this sits well with my core values, or it's kind of a mix of both. There's going to be a little bit of extra in there, maybe research that you need to do, but you have the ability to make that decision, and knowing that you're being authentic and true to who you really are and the things that you really believe. So it's a double whammy, as I say, that you're getting a business foundation built, but it also doubles as your life foundation, because that's the type of business that you're going to want to run. That is what my reflection into my new January, my Septemberary, just, it's not going to be a word, but making that into my goal for the next 4 months is making sure that not only do I have that, but I'm giving all of my clients that same foundation, that I know and my clients know where I stand, what those pillars are for me, that it's going to be kind of a give and take. We can go through that together. And by doing that, you become the leading lady of your life. You become the woman, the star of your own show. And that's what life is. We're all supposed to be the stars of our own show, but a lot of us let the star go to somebody else. Maybe it's to a friend, maybe it's to your spouse or significant other, maybe it's to your kids. We let them be the star of the show of our life. And it should be, we are the stars of our show, our own show, our own life. And that's what a leading lady is. You're the star of your own show, whatever that looks like. And for everybody on the broadcast, anybody on the replays or anything like that, go into beautifullyblooming.com and you are welcome to schedule an appointment for just a strategy session of if this fits for you, if this is something that rings true to you. And by doing so, you'll get a $500 credit off of tuition for the program itself. So that's an incentive. And the dates, sorry, that took a lot for me to say, I'm sorry. The dates for the open cart are from the 11th of September until, I got to pull that into my calendar because I can't remember what exactly the day. The 12th of September to the 16th of September is that. And if you're interested in learning more about what that program is, I do have a webinar that will be going live on the 13th of September that will dive more into the program itself, but also it is titled The 3 Secrets of Starting a Business as a Busy Mom. Because when you look at thinking of even starting a business, being an entrepreneur, I looked at it with, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to put so much time and effort into it. Do I do that? Sometimes, yes, but starting a business actually takes 4 hours or less a week. And I don't believe that anybody should spend more than that allotted amount of time to get their business off the ground and running. So if that's of interest to you, the links will also be in the show notes. But you're going to be able to find the 3 secrets of starting a business, which are also 3 secrets that will help you find freedom in motherhood. They kind of double together. My course is built on finding that balance between motherhood, freedom in motherhood, and creating that business and creating that thing that is just yours. And so you get both inside the program of how it works with life and how it works in a business, because they're going to be simultaneously a part of each other. You're going to be growing together in hand with what your motherhood is and what your business is, or what that thing is that you want for you. So I challenge you, if that's of something of interest, that you will be able to, that you hop on, jump a call. It's 20 minutes. It's free. There's no obligation to do so. But again, you do get the $500 off if you sign up for the program after the call, if you feel like it's the right fit for you. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful fall season, especially with today being day number 1 of September. Make this your January 1st, that it is going to be the best 4 months of the year that will kickstart you and boost you right into 2023. If you're interested, reach out and hop on a call. Let's chat about it. Get your coupon, because we're going to be doing a journey together. You're doing your journey of finding this business, and I'm doing my journey of being recommitting to showing up differently in the world, showing up for my business differently, and creating a healthier me. So you're going to see that journey as well, and I'll share that with you as updates come along. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great and safe holiday weekend. Enjoy your plans, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you later in 2 weeks. You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyBlooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyBlooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. And I'll see you guys soon.